So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eazy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homie Matt and I. Hope you enjoyed listening to us share our respective knowledge and our areas of expertise, Seinfeld and horror movies, respectively. And hope you had a good time, participating, listening along, and answering questions as we were. And looking forward for our next trivia battle down the road. So, for episode 190 of Eazy Conversations, I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio virtually with the homie Matt. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day right now. Eric, I had so much fun on the last episode doing the trivia. Definitely something we're going to do again, I agree. Tonight we have something a little different, but just as fun. And why don't you let everyone know what we're going to be talking about right now, Eric?
Yeah, so we're going to be, this is pretty much a biannually, does that mean once or twice a year? Let's say every 2 years. We've been doing at least one episode on this topic. The House of the Dragon Smash HBO show that has released this season every 2 years, and we've done, for the most part, at least one episode on those whenever they release their episodes there. It's been a fun endeavor to do, to both praise and critique the show over its inaugural 2 seasons, right? We were pretty high on it in season 1. Season 2 was seen as a bit of a letdown, and listeners will recall at the time I did say, or we talked about, let's not take full credit here, that season 2, while being a letdown at the time, could also be a jumping point to reach possibly new heights with this show, and that if season 3 was a hit, all would be forgiven for the misstep at the time. And now we're going to dive into season 3. Full spoilers if you haven't seen House of the Dragon. Very excited to get into this with you. Matt, our second Game of Thrones spin-off from this year, following A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which was a big surprise and welcome one at that. So, Matt, I'll throw it over to you first. What are your thoughts on the third season of House of the Dragon?
My opening thoughts on season 3, Eric, is I really, really, really enjoyed it. I'm big fan of this season. It was a step up from season 2. The pacing was better. The characters, I will get into that later. But my opening thoughts, I love this season. It was great. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, you're not going to see any opposition on my end as well. Big fan of this season. An absolute return to form, not only for House of the Dragons. Like, I think this is the best season of the show by far, honestly. But we're just back in prime Game of Thrones mode right now. Between this and Night of the Seven Kingdoms, it's the year of Game of Thrones. It can't really be denied. And yeah, season 3 started off with an absolute bang, and we're recording the day after the finale for the season aired, and it was two bookmarks, or bookends, if you will. Like, just fantastic season of TV. Really excited to get into it with you, Matt, as well. So let's just start off. Let's kind of go chronologically and talk about what we liked, disliked as well there. But yeah, the opening episode of the season was seen by many people as what should have been the finale of season 2. But honestly, having the season open with this was arguably better, because season 2, yeah, it left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. We were craving more high-end Game of Thrones content, which Night of the Seven Kingdoms did deliver, but on a much smaller scale. And House of the Dragon, season 3 especially, had those large-scale fight scenes that we've known to love from Game of Thrones. And yeah, Battle of the Gullet opening episode set the tone. Maybe the best episode of the season, honestly, but not a high that was not matched. So yeah, season 3, episode 1. Do you want to kick off with the Gullet, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, it was the perfect episode to get us back into show, especially like to get me back into the show. It was a long episode that went by so fast. I just wanted more. What better way than like a crazy naval battle with dragons to get us back into the show? Great characters, deaths. There's a lot of deaths in this season, particularly, Eric, and I loved all of that. Like, they shaved off a lot of characters. A lot of things didn't go the way I thought they were going to go. Like, if we listen back on our season 3 predictions on our season 2 episode, we're totally off. But no, okay. So the episode 1 right away. Big death of Jace. I love the Rhaena stuff in season 1. Rhaena with her sheep stealer, because it's like she has such good intentions, but it led to disastrous ruin. Like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, as the quote says, you know. And that was tragic to see and heartbreaking. I love the Corliss action. I'm a big Corliss guy now. Like, a great character. Love seeing him commanding his fleet. You know, outnumbered but not outwitted. Like, he's super smart. Him and his two sons, or one son, Alan, on the boat with them. Yeah, Adam's the dragon rider. Alan's the guy on the boat. But yeah, and I forget her name. The girl leading the Triarchy fleet, Lohar.
Right. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, she was kind of cool too, like boarding ships. And Eric, I don't know about you, but like the boat-to-boat action and the boarding parties on the ships, like how cool was that to see on a grand scale?
Love that, honestly. Like, I'm just trying to think of what kind of naval fight scenes we got in Game of Thrones. We had Euron Greyjoy, who at that point Game of Thrones was kind of on the down decline, I guess. Battle of Blackwater Bay, but nothing really like this. And I loved seeing the naval fleets going toe to toe again, like you said, outwitting one another, seeing how to get through a tight path a la Odysseus in the rocks, right? Like that naval knowledge came into play for Corliss over Lohar, or whatever her name was, the shiniest jibs you've ever seen in the Seven Kingdoms of Game of Thrones. Absolute no sense, but I wasn't a huge fan of her. Like, she was a good little B villain, but I'm glad she kind of got clipped early, and I was a little worried, to be honest, that she would actually best Corliss, because she kept saying, I want the sea snake, like, he's mine, and she did prove to be a formidable captain in her own right, and was a fierce threat. Glad that she did meet her end in that fight scene. I think it was Alan who got the best of her. And I will say, big fan of, you said Corliss, you're a big fan of, same here. And I really like his two bastard sons, Alan and Adam, the Hull fellas. Big fan. I like what they brought to the table in season 2, and then in season 3 you kind of got to see them in their respective ways take on more importance, and kind of how they carry themselves. They're pretty similar. They're stoic, want to prove themselves. Like, they have a lot of that. A lot of characters have that in them, and for them so far it hasn't been to their detriment, a la Jace, who for the entirety of the show really has always wanted to do more and step up against his mom's guidance, right? And it really bit him in the ass in this season, and ended up with, like, was it like 12 arrows to the chest, a la Pedro Pascal in Gladiator 2, if you will. Maybe 1 or 2 arrows too many, but he wanted his Boromir moment, I guess. But anyways, no, episode 1, fantastic. Honestly, on the topic of Jace, he kind of deserved to die in that horrific way. After he unclipped from his dragon and just let that thing drown in the bottom of the ocean. I did not like that whatsoever. A captain goes down with his ship, and a dragon rider's ship is its dragon. So, I mean, he got what he deserved, in my opinion. Who, honestly, I was rooting for Jace, being a team black guy through and through.
Right.
But as we'll get into our talks for this season, what this season has done really well is also make the lines a little more blurred and not as black and white, where in the past I think it was a lot easier to just be rooting for Team Black. This season kind of, you could see where some people may want to flip on Team Green, or maybe even another team that's emerged as a contender in this season. So, no, episode 1 was fantastic. Like you said, the Reyna character, I thought, again, she was also a liability out there. Like, as soon as I saw her go into battle, she had no control of this wild dragon. It's like, you gotta spend a few weeks in the dragon pits, refine your Valyrian. She just didn't have what it took. Went from the ECHL to the NHL way too quick and got injured game 1. So that's kind of how I see it with Reyna. But
great comparison, Eric. Yeah. No, like this was the highlight of the episode, but what this show did well in every episode is the juxtaposition with the other action going on was really well done. Showing scenes of Laris and Aegon, their little journey on the road in incognito for the most part, and then we had the Aemon storyline, which I thought Aemon took kind of a backseat in season 3. He was a lot of inaction, a lot of like him self-reflecting, and like I said, inaction, which was a little jarring. Like, he didn't really do much this whole season, so we get a bit of. They show Eamon, they show Aegon every episode, they show Rhaenyra, what she's doing. And I thought, though, this season did a great job of not showing too much of one before cutting to another scene. Like, we got little snippets, and then we're already moving on to something else. Like, there was always something interesting going on. And it also helps that almost every episode, like, there's a character dying, like a major character maybe from the previous seasons that just gets off. And they trimmed a lot of fun this season is what I'm trying to say. And that was welcome. You know, like, it helps with the pacing, and we don't have to focus on too many characters now. But they also introduce a lot of cool new characters. Cool in my opinion, but we'll get into that. Some of the villains I kind of liked. But yeah, that battle was a huge highlight. It was it's the best or second best episode of the season. And it was the perfect episode, like I said, to hook us back into the show. I love naval warfare, especially like Greek or medieval warfare, like naval warfare with just melee weapons and bows and arrows. That was wicked. I love when they're firing at the dragons and trying to get them with their like grappling hooks or ballistas. Like, that's so cool. And the dragons are maneuvering. Like, the production's unreal in this show. It's truly an amazing show in that regard. And it reminded me of Game of Thrones, Eric. And imagine if we had got to do the podcast during Game of Thrones and we'd be talking about all these epic moments, like, as we're experiencing them. But we get to do it with House of the Dragons, and season 3 was really epic. So let's all together. We're doing that now.
100%.
But yes, did you have anything else on like the first episode, or do you want to jump into one of the storylines I mentioned?
Yeah.
Do you want to go by episode, or do you want to go by like storyline? I'm up to any, whatever you want to do, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're kind of going to feed into one another, right? We're going to talk about characters as we get into storylines chronologically. We can do a bit of both, because you mentioned a lot of stuff, like the Aemond in Harrenhal, for example. While not the most interesting storyline, it really mirrored the Daemon in Harrenhal in season 2, right? Like, it's a 1-to-1. Daemon spent all of season 2 in Harrenhal, and now Aemon spent all of season 3 in Harrenhal, reflecting, kind of again, just mirroring the two characters, how similar they are. Aemond aspires to be like Daemon, and he's now, again, with Alice the whole season. It was a little strange, and his character, I would say, kind of took a bit of a backseat and he was one of the driving forces for, if you're a Team Green fan, like, Aemond is one of the main reasons why you're a fan of that team. But what this season did really nicely was, like you said, introduce new characters and give other pre-existing characters chance to shine, to make you maybe want to root for them. So let's put Aemond aside for now, because there wasn't a whole lot with him, really. But introduced in episode 2, I think, was Ormond Hightower. So Alicent's, he's her cousin, Gwen's cousin as well. And he's there with his guy, I think, Roxton or something like that, like the Brasso from Andor. Forget his name. And then Darion Targaryen, so the other brother, Alicent's other son, who went to ward at Old Town. So I really like how they developed all of those characters and how they gave up Darion earlier. Then that reveal hit really hard, where when Alicent and Rhaenyra are kind of talking a lot in the beginning of this season, Alicent's kind of helping Rhaenyra, honestly. When Rhaenyra takes the throne at the end of episode 2, if we kind of jump to that as well, like the beheading of Otto Hightower, or not the beheading, but no, he gets beheaded. Yeah, the beheading of Otto Hightower. That was fantastic. And I love also like how Daemon also just one hand like slices the head of the other guy, the Master of Coin, as he's insulting them. That was a laugh out loud moment. But
amazing.
The Otto beheading was a big moment too. Like, episode 2 sets the tone. Rhaenyra got the throne. I was a little surprised that happened so early, but it was important to then establish Rhaenyra's kind of struggle to rule, and also where you could see like now Darion is being raised up by Ormond, and where Aegon is still out there and getting some momentum on his own. So that for me was an unexpected turn in the season, but a welcome one as well. So that whole storyline of those three, we can get into those characters like Ormond, Darion. What did you think of everything going on in Tumbleton? How that was all built up?
the Tumbleton storyline was a huge part of this season, and I really enjoyed it. I loved the Ormond character for how much of a villainous person he was, and kind of like comedic at some parts, and he's definitely peculiar, is what I'm trying to say. And I like the actor who played him. I thought he did great. I like Darian too. Like, he seemed smart. Like, he seemed like he could be a good leader. Because Rhaenyra this season, man, Rhaenyra was a little unhinged in some parts. You know, she takes the throne and right away is like, if things do not go well in King's Landing this season, no money, gold cloaks getting slaughtered. But let's just put that to the side and back to Tumbleton. I like how smart Ormond was, that he's in the town. He knows his protection is being in the town, and the dragons don't want to burn the town up, so stay in there and you're safe. And he's also kind of using his spies to sow dissent into King's Landing by having the gold cloaks murdered, and they know there's no money to pay their salary, so their morale is even lower. Like, Ormond was playing a lot of mind games there, and a lot of counter, like, espionage and subterfuge games. I like that stuff. He was quirky, like I said. Like, he had even Darian, like, he knew that Ormond has a temper and, like, sometimes leave the room, and that was fun to see. I was a fan of Ormond's character. What about you, Eric?
Absolutely hated Ormond, honestly. I mean, he was a great character for the show, don't get me wrong, but I was, again, not to fast forward too much here, but I was just praying. Like, he was number 2 on my hit list after Kristen Cole this season, honestly. Who, to be honest, Kristen Cole, will obviously get to him later, but he became kind of an irrelevant character in my opinion. So Ormond was definitely, and a big reason why this season was such a hit is that we did get a great villain, where, again, Aemond also took a backseat this season, so it allowed for Ormond to be that guy that, if you're on Rhaenyra's side, you're hating on Ormond while respecting and appreciating what he brings to the table. He was a smart man. Like, he was playing 3D chess out there. The Ormond's gambit almost worked out in the end, really, but some unpredictable wild cards out there just roaming the streets and the skies later on. But yeah, so Ormond was great, but I was never rooting for him at all. If anything, I liked Darion more, where he was a bit of a softer, kind of just like put in a tough position, and a man, like, he's still a boy really there, but had, like you said, all of the potential to be a great king. And who knows, for all I know, maybe he is going to become king down the road. Who knows? But he was kind of a more likable character on that side, where he's not evil, where we've seen Aegon in the past be a hateable character. Aemond as well be cruel, right? So you're not really, he's completely different from his other brothers, is kind of what I'm saying here. So they were great additions to the show. Now, for you said something else. Yeah, the network of spies there that Ormond was kind of leading and working within King's Landing. To be honest, I wasn't a big fan of that storyline. It really reminded me of the Sons of the Harpy subplot in season 5 of Game of Thrones, which I absolutely hated. For me, it was like, how is this group of underground, again, just civilians able to assassinate and corner and overpower all these gold cloaks, who are some of the most formidable fighters in King's Landing, protectors of the realm, just like all these ninjas basically behind the scenes. I wasn't a big fan of it, honestly, so that's kind of a minor gripe I had with the season. I wanted that group dealt with sooner than later. Thankfully it didn't drag out, and that they weren't as, even like the leader in King's Landing said, like, oh, you cut off the head of the snake, 3 more emerged to take their place. Like, I just didn't like that. It's like, where are you all coming from? It kind of just seemed out of nowhere. And for me in season 2, when Alicent and the Greens had control of King's Landing, Rhaenyra was seen as the savior, coming in with the ships and all the food and helping them out. But then that seemed to be suddenly forgotten as soon as she became queen, because she couldn't alleviate some of their problems and there was not enough money. Meanwhile, it's Laris who took all the gold, so she was kind of playing with one hand tied behind her back, had no access to these resources, had to anoint freaking Dan Fogler, that absolute moron, as Master of Coin.
Commanderly.
So, exactly. Yeah, so anyways, that's kind of my thought on that whole plot. Overall, really liked it, but I was kind of tired of the gold cloaks getting slaughtered one after the next.
Yeah, it really escalated fast too, eh? Like it came out of nowhere, and it's like they're super powerful, and like even the last shot of one of the episodes where there's like they're lined up in like a feast for crows, the gold cloaks at the dinner table, like the Last Supper. That was a cool ending though. But yeah, the super. It escalated maybe too fast. I gotta mention this shot in season 2 after Otto and Jasper get beheaded by Rhaenyra and Daemon. There's a shot of in the blood soaking the floor of the throne, and it was like I had to write it down, and that's how I remembered it. Like it's absolutely beautiful shot, Eric, and that's what makes this season even better. Like moments like that, it's like the shot of the Iron Throne, like under like through the blood of Jasper and Otto. So that I don't know if you remember that, Eric, but that was amazing. Also in episode 2, Aemon gets stabbed at Harrenhal. He's so cocky, he's just like killing people, but then like he realizes he just got stabbed and just passes out at the end of the episode. Yeah. That was unexpected. And then pretty much doesn't do anything the rest of the season after that until the end. But he's very like stationed in Harrenhal, like you said, like Daemon was in season 2. Yeah, so. But yeah, she takes the throne in episode 2. But like the whole season, Rhaenyra takes the throne, like, but she's never anointed queen by the High Septon. She's always struggling. Like Rhaenyra struggles this whole season. Yeah, and it was it made for good television to watching her struggle, and like what happens with what's her name, Mysaria, like at the end, like she's she's struggling the whole. It's almost like a burnout or a crash out of Rhaenyra this season, right? Literally. She's slipping. So that was fun to watch. But no, it made every episode like escalate more and more to the ultimate conclusion and climax we got, which was pretty cool. So it was good stuff. There was a lot of struggles this season, as opposed to just like waiting to tease us with stuff like in season 2. Season 2 did a lot of that. So yeah, do you want to move on to like the Larys and Aegon wandering journey, or
I'm glad.
Yeah, what do you think of that? Like the bickering and all that.
Glad you brought them up, because that's kind of what I wanted to tee up next. So Aegon, even in season 2, I was kind of starting to come around on him, where like I found him kind of funny, despite not being a Team Green guy. I thought the actor's line deliveries were gold. Just even little lines. I don't even have an example off the top, but whatever he would say, there's a bit of humor. Just he's slightly annoyed, and he never really he didn't want to be king in Ish. He didn't believe that he was worthy, and then he got a taste of power and kind of was enjoying that. But then even when he became king, he kind of just wanted to be with the boys, just slamming beers and just hooking up with whores, right? So he was never really fit for rule, and he met his doom in season 2 when Aemon kind of tried to take him out. Against all odds, survived. So now season 3 was really a redemption tour for Aegon, in which he's getting no respect from anybody he encounters on the road. Larys is kind of trying to protect him, realize he's weaker, right? He's crippled, burned, unrecognizable. He doesn't want to take orders from anybody, but he kind of has to just eat shit this season to bide his time, right? And eventually, he even hears it from Larys saying like, yeah, you're an awful king, arguably a terrible person as well. And a lot of reflective moments for Aegon, who other scenes I really liked were mirroring of Aegon and Aemon both talking about how their mother prefers the other son, right? Like you can understand that they have those insecurities, thinking, oh, Aemon was always the one who was registered in tournaments and spoke High Valyrian and blah, 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 all these things. But then you're hearing on the flip side, Aemon thinking the same thing of his older brother, thinking, oh, he got every opportunity in life, squandered it, whereas I had to bust my ass to get what I deserve, but never got the recognition. So those were interesting scenes. Adds more depth to the season. But Aegon and Larys buddy comedy movies, sign me up. I'm there all day. It was so good. I like them working off each other. Again, never liked Larys, creepy fella, but working with Aegon, I find that that's a somewhat unorthodox match, but it makes sense because they're both now, they have a common outlook on life, being that they're crippled, right? So that's their life. Like Aegon has now had to adapt to a new lifestyle, and Larys is kind of a mentor. Not the end I was expecting though for those two together. I didn't really think Lars would just kind of up and about leave him,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for most of the season, them working together and trying to get to Rook's Rest, I was never disappointed when we were shifting gears and following those two as they traveled along the Riverlands. How about you, Matt?
Yeah, every time they cut to Laris and Aegon, first of all, I agree with everything you said, Eric. They were great, but every time they cut back to them, it was like a breath of fresh air in the sense that I could more relax and enjoy more of the comedic moments,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have nothing too serious was going on. I love when they get to that encampment of like peasants and they're assigned like a job to clean the latrines and do stuff like that. And but you can see in Aegon's face he actually loses his temper. He's unable to shut his mouth. He'll have moments of outbursts, but then he has to apologize and like kiss the foot. Like
Yeah.
that was great to me. Like you can see it. Like he was the king. He's a Targaryen. He bows to no one, and he has to just eat mud and like just do it. And he does it, and it was awesome. That actor did a great job. And yes, he has amazing lines, Eric. Like just today, we watched the last episode. Like when he goes to Aemon and he's like, "I'm alive," or
So
something
good.
like that. I bursted out laughing. Like you said it like Jim Carrey would say it. It was awesome.
I was thinking, like, if ever the DCU needs a Joker, that's your guy.
Yeah, that was great. No, he did a great job, and unexpected turn of events with Sunfire. Like I had no idea. I had no idea what was gonna. I thought Vagar was coming out for a second. No joke. And then I did a little research. Like apparently the dragons can go in a comatose state and heal and do what Sunfire did. Basically, that was kind of badass, honestly.
Yeah.
And he stood his ground with Lannister. And who knew Lannister had more courage than Laris. Laris doesn't really. He's pretty craven, I guess.
Yeah.
But no, I really enjoyed every Aegon Laris things. They never showed too much. It was never boring. They never overstepped their time on the running time of the episode. You know, it was just short enough, so that was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed. So I guess that would be the main storylines for the season, other than the one we talked about a little earlier, just in that the fight through the I don't know if it's the Triton or just the Riverlands there, but the boots to the ground combat between the Rivermen and then Kristen Cole marching up to Harrenhal, right? And that really grimy combat that we got to see. I did enjoy a lot of it, but I feel like in general it didn't really have. Anyways, it's an unexpected, I guess, outcome in which Kristen Cole is leading his army get to the chagrin, I guess, of Gwaine and co, who thought that they're just marching onwards needlessly, kind of fighting a losing battle for no point. And Cole kind of went out unceremoniously, which I thought was hilarious. I wasn't that surprised when he had given his big speech, either earlier in the episode or the prior episode, saying, "Our purpose is to go out in a blaze of glory and we'll be remembered and they'll sing songs of us for thousands of years in taverns and I'm the greatest warrior in the Seven Kingdoms." And then he just kind of, when he challenged Oscar Tully, shout out, low-key, one of the MVPs of the season, for not, you didn't even do that much. I'm just an Oscar Tully guy and the Stark guy, I forget his name.
Sir Roderick?
Roderick, legend. So he offers to challenge them. They're surrounded, dead to rights. He's like, me versus the two of you. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Cole's gonna outman these two, and he's gonna get out of this, and that'll be that. And then as he's talking, just arrows to the cheek. And then chest. I literally yelled, "Let's go!" I was fired up when he died.
You're waiting for that, yeah.
Oh, I've been waiting for that. But honestly, I look back at the season now, and he was kind of irrelevant this whole season. I think he was really a hateable character in the second half of season 1, and then all of season 2. And then this one, he was kind of just, he's kind of been going through it. I think he's just been ridden with guilt and shame for soiling his honor, right, and breaking every vow in the book. So you can understand that this guy has just been itching to die, and he has wanted that recognition and praise, and even said, like, I don't want to serve, really, I want to go out on my terms. In a sense, he did, right? He did get to have his big moment when the Rivermen were faking that they were dead, and they all got up. Like, that was a great fight scene. So he did give us a lot of good action this season, and gone as quickly as he was introduced in a sense. But yeah, that scene was great. His death scene. But yeah, what did you think of that whole season-long arc? Which I think that's episode 7 is when he dies.
What I thought of Cole was he got what he deserved in the end, and I liked what they did with Cole in season 3. He's very dirty, doing guerrilla tactics. He's in the shadow, doing stuff at night, sneaky games. As opposed to season 1 and 2, we got the clean cut Cole, like the cocky Kingsguard and Sire, like, you know, sleeping with all these women. Like, this was him, like, down and dirty, and basically you knew his demise was going to happen, and it was very unceremonious, like you said, Eric, but that was perfect for me. You know, the rise in, this is the fall of Cole in this season, and I was so glad to see it. He didn't really, all he did was delay the Tully Northman army at the end of the day, and that's what he even says that's what he wants to do. He told Gwaine that. Who's another low-key character I like, actually, Sir Gwaine Hightower. I don't mind him. He's a good actor, too. But yeah, Cole went exactly the way. It was perfect, honestly. Like, shot by arrows, no fight, no glory. Beautiful. Yeah. But the whole season was unglorious for him, in my opinion. He was fighting a losing battle the whole season, and it was nice to see you juxtapose that with season 1 and 2 when he's all high and mighty. Now he's, like, on his decline, and it's like, yeah, we saw this coming. A lot of people got their comeuppings in this season. A lot of deaths, like I said. And this was just another one that I was like, oh, super glad to see it. Let's move on. Yeah, I don't know if I yelled out loud like you. I know you were waiting for this moment forever, but yeah, no, it was great to see.
I like what you said, though, about him in seasons 1 and 2, prim and proper, but we finally got to see the real Cole in this season, despite the fact that this is how he's been the entire show. He's been a dirty dog in seasons 1 and 2. He was just hiding. It was a wolf in sheep's clothing for seasons 1 and 2, and the wolf just bare his chest out in this season and didn't want to hide anymore, right? It was all leading up to this, but we had been seeing this the whole time. So I think, honestly, kudos to the actor and the character to elicit such reactions from. I think he was universally the most hated character in the show. And Ormond kind of took a bit of that from him this season. So now with the two of them gone, it'll be interesting to see what season 4 is looking like, the final season, which now I'm kind of wishing we had another season waiting for us after this. But no, Cole, I agree with you too. Gwaine, I didn't care for him at all in season 2, but this season I thought he was a little more reasonable, and you can understand his point of view. He was trying to just do the right thing, thinking that this is a needless battle. Again, and then when he's over with Ormond, trying to just do what's best for Darien, who he thinks is being manipulated and everything there, and wants to see him protected. So, good stock up for Gwaine this season. I think for the Riverlands, like I said, the Roxton character was a good addition.
He was great.
Oscar Tully, and the woman who killed Cole, I have no idea if she's supposed to be a character of significance, but I'm just saying now, there's something about her and her bloodlust, let's say, or maybe just lust in general, because she was giving Damon a few looks in the finale, and I couldn't help but notice and see if there may be something there for season 4. Who knows? But I think that's Damon's kind of gal right there. Killed Kristen Cole too. Something, a storyline to monitor, because she seems to be a formidable threat going forward, right? So we'll see. Another thing in this season, which we kind of touched on with the Corlys and his sons and everything there. Let's go to the flip side of that. Bela Reyna. Now, Bela, I feel like, took an unfortunate back seat this season. I've kind of liked that she is pretty bold, badass, but after what happened to Jace, she kind of got shut down and just put on the sidelines. She got grounded, I guess.
Yeah.
And what I didn't like, though, even though this is acting and everything, and there's a ton of it in this show, her and Alan hooking up is just, like, all the incest stuff for me is just so uncomfortable to watch, and there's a lot of it this season. The Alicent and Aemon dream scene, too. Like, and even just the Alicent and Aemon kiss. Ugh. dry
Yeah.
heaving watching that.
Yeah, and I did not like the dream sequence we got. I was like, please make it a dream. I knew it was, but like,
Oh,
holy crap, it's so uncomfortable.
yes.
Very uncomfortable. But I mean, they did that in Game of Thrones, so
I mean, not like this. I feel like this is on another level, but
yeah, they're really playing with our like emotions, but more of our like our tolerances, I guess. I don't know how to say it, but
yeah.
no, there was a lot of Alan like. Yeah, I thought that was unnecessary. The Alan Bayless stuff, and I was heartbroken when Rhaenyra would not grant Corliss's request to have them legitimized.
Yeah.
That was sad. The Rhaena, what do you think of the Rhaena storyline with Sheep Stealer? And yeah, that was maybe the thing to cut, right? And the scenes in the Vale as well, and then kind of a cool confrontation when the dragons were going after each other. Like that little tri battle we got with the dragons with Caraxes and Sheep Stealer and is it Alfred Hughes dragon Cyrax? Yeah, no, it was Rhaenyra, right? Yeah. That was cool. No, we still got a lot of cool dragon action this season.
Man,
we didn't get as much Dragon Rider action as season 2, right? Like Pew, Ulf. We'll talk about Ulf later. There's lots to say. No, what do you think of Rhaena, the Rhaena storyline here?
So Rhaena, it was in a sense nice to see Daemon actually be a concerned father for her. But again, what's his true motivation here? He's like dismissed this daughter his whole life, barely acknowledged her existence, and now he's only popping up because Sheep Stealer the dragon has caused all this turmoil that's affecting his wife and her state of mind as they're in battle. Like, that's really what's been motivating him. Then sure, he finds out that Rhaena is the dragon rider. He kind of wants to just be the middleman, the mediator, I guess, between the two sides, where Rhaenyra's hell-bent on killing the rider. He then offers up this, oh yeah, I got the rider, burnt to a crisp, don't have to worry about him. Again, just such a needless lie. And whenever these things happen and these lies come up, you know they're going to bite him in the ass. So just don't really love how he's conducting himself in general. He hasn't learned his lesson, this guy, and it's going to cost him, I feel like. But yeah, Rhaena, I didn't really care for all that much. I honestly thought, coming out of season 2, when she stumbled on Sheep Stealer, I thought she was going to be an X factor for our side, and that Sheep Stealer was going to be a sneaky MVP, and he would come in clutch and take down some high tower bastards, but turned out to, again, do the literal opposite of that. And then as you talked about the dragon on dragon triarchy battle, I hated to see it. I don't like seeing dragon on dragon violence. It just, call me soft, it just breaks my heart to see these beautiful creatures go at it and bite at each other's necks. I don't know, I just don't like it. It's cool action when they're involved in burning down foot soldiers, but just dragon on dragon, I don't know. It's a lose-lose for me seeing a dragon go down, and especially when, like, I wanted Sheep Stealer dead on the spot. Do not resuscitate, just like chop its head off, Caraxes. I don't know why he sent Adam away and let Sheep Stealer go. Like, maybe that was just to protect his daughter, right? Who knows? But again, a massive mistake. The second he said, you go protect the queen, queen's fine. Like, you're 2-on-1 on this dragon. I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of that. But Daemon, his thought process leaves some to be desired at times, and impulsive with his decision making. So, but yeah, all that to say, Rhaena didn't really do what I was hoping she would, and just a nuisance to me. I didn't like any of the Vale scenes. They just get me out of this weirdo Lady Aaron high tower situation. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Rhaena in general and the whole Vale plot.
I can agree more, Eric. And we've had a couple Lady Aarons now between shows, and none of them are completely normal. Let's be honest.
One and the same.
The other storyline too that kind of took a back seat and ended in tragedy was the Alicent Helena trying to escape, trying to maybe birth a son, fearing for the son if she births a son, like if Rhaenyra is going to kill him. But that was, I didn't hate that, but again, that was more the quieter moments in the episodes where I was just like taking a breath to catch up and wait for the more exciting stuff to happen. I didn't mind the scenes, and it ultimately ended in tragedy, like I said, but and that was sad, like that last shot of the open window and her like falling. But at the end of the day, it's just to get rid of another character. Now we can focus more on the meat of the story. So I appreciated the storyline, but it wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah, the only thing that's a bit too bad with Helena going down like that, Tommen style, is that she was one of those characters where, albeit an absolute weirdo, whatever she said, you were kind of dialed into and you knew it had meaning, right? Like when she was talking about this multicolored beetle, I'm like, all right, how is this going to come up later? Who knows? Maybe that's a season 4 payoff. We're just waiting to see. But
interesting.
She has the sight, right? And again, a scene, I think I said it last time there, but I rewatched season 2 and she said some important stuff that Aemond, you're swallowed in the God's eye, never seen again. He's done next season. Aegon will be king again. Aegon will be king again, for sure. Like, she's not wasting her breath in saying these things. Don't know how it's going to happen, but you now see, and this is going to lead up into the finale talk. I think we can get there at this point there. Whatever she was spewing, as strange as it may sound, she saw the vision, and she saw Rhaenyra on the throne covered in blood, presumably her own. So that's how it's gonna go down, unfortunately. And but it's just gonna, and we'll talk about the future of the show later there. But all that to say, Helena, R.I.P. You didn't deserve to go out like that. But I honestly thought she escaped with the tapestry. That would have been a great moment, but alas. Do you want to tee up the finale? And obviously, we haven't really talked about Hugh and Ulf there, but we'll get into them and how it all roads led to Tumbleton, right? So let's just get into some Tumble Tea action.
That's right. That was the climax. So Ulf, the whole leading up to the finale, Ulf is very he's not content. He's always complaining. He wants attention upon himself. He wants a title. He wants a castle. He says it a million times, I want a castle. And that ultimately leads to his betrayal and him making a deal with Ormond. That was his ace in the hole there in the last battle. And it almost didn't happen, but unfortunately it did. But yeah, Ulf discontent the whole episode, it explains his betrayal. So basically we have the river, the Tully and Stark army outside Tumbleton. There's the whole debate are they going to send a dragon in to do some destruction? Friggin' Ormond comes up with a brilliant and sadistic strategy of having kids on the wall. That was savage. That was another level to me of like, oh my God, the show is maybe not crossing a line, but that's a different level of like explicitness, and like it's a little vile to show on TV, like kids getting harmed and burnt, and like even what Roderick does when that kid whacks his cat. Like, did you have to hit him in the face?
That was crazy. Yeah.
Just knock him out with your fist.
Swift death.
Right? So that was the orchestration of the battle was really cool in my opinion. First he sends the Northmen, like, hey, they're all blood frenzy and expendable. You guys go first. They almost all get murdered by the arrows. And then Daemon comes in on his own, like Daemon and the girl with the bow and arrow and the makeup. Like she gets her moment in the sun. Yeah, I do want to see more of her, you're right. I like the whole battle, but the whole time I'm waiting for Ulf to betray them, and ultimately when he does, it turns the tide of the battle. I don't know, Hugh is so distracted the whole season by finding his wife, which you can understand, it's totally understandable. Super devastating scene when his wife wants nothing to do with him, like that was sad. But so distracted, he's useless on his dragon this season. Daemon is not in Caraxes when Ulf is there, so that's sad to see. And then you get a lot of cool like one-on-ones going on. You have Daemon versus Sir Roxton, or I'm pretty sure that's his name. Like basically Ormond's big henchman, who was awesome. And then you have Ormond versus Sir Roderick. That was a cool fight. There's a lot of badass moments in the finale, Eric. I just watched it. There's a lot of carnage. Great battle. As good as the battle that we've seen in House of the Dragon. Carnage with the dragon, like igniting people on fire. The dragon like burning down the gate. It was really cool action at the end of the day. Very angry at the result, though. I hated that Ulf betrayed them. That was devastating to see. But then Ulf is almost like, well, fuck you too, Armin. It burns him. Like, he just goes haywire. And so does Rhaenyra's grasp on the throne. Like, you don't murder the Pope or the High Septon. It's basically like murdering the Pope here.
That was crazy.
Like, that's going to piss a lot of people off. She basically told Alan, like, oh, you don't listen to those gods. You're from a more important lineage. And I'm surprised Alan did that, honestly. But
Yeah, my thoughts on the finale was very chaotic and super entertaining, honestly. Those are the two words for it. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, you gave a great recap on the whole finale. Honestly, I'll just pick up on where you left off there with what is going on. Maybe the less interesting and entertaining stuff that happened in King's Landing, right? Like Rhaenyra giving her big speech, which was not
Oh, yeah, it was
overly
weird.
well received, right? Like there were
Yeah.
no oohs and ahs from the crowd. They're like, you just murdered the cardinal here, like the.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, Alan, I didn't like him being used in that sense. Like I hated when she said like you are the blood of old Valyria. It's like, but legitimize the man for God's sakes. Then I don't know.
Right?
It was kind of hypocritical and
Yeah.
just again using the man and playing on a certain weakness to get what you want out of him. And this whole season, where you could maybe argue it was a win for Rhaenyra and her side in that she ended up on the throne, it is like you said the start of her downfall and the crash out, and it was giving heavy Daenerys vibes in the finale of Game of Thrones, right? Like, I thought there was a lot of parallel there with the okay, I finally won, but almost immediately everything's crashing and burning down on me. So it was a there's a good parallel there, and even earlier in the episode too, where Adam and Alan are having a conversation about like, oh, Alan, are you going to battle with our father to rescue our father? And he said, no, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to the High Septon with Rhaenyra. And Adam's like, oh, so you'll basically cast your family away for like to advance yourself basically and for the promise of Lord of the Tides and whatever. So I really hope that's not them teeing up a divide between those brothers, right? Because the way I saw it was like you had Hugh and Ulf, who were new additions on Team Black, and then Adam and Alan, and now we've seen Ulf flip, and like I would hate to see like Adam go over. I don't see that happening honestly. Like, Adam, the whole boys, they have their heads on straight. Hugh,
Yeah.
like you said, is kind of just doing his own thing this season.
Yeah.
Power hungry, talking about like, oh, cat, we can rule the world. It was giving like a poor man's Anakin to Padme. Cat just
Yeah.
didn't like
Yeah.
the version of a man she was becoming. So I kind of would have liked to see more from Hugh, who I always looked at as superior, like rises above the oh, I have all this notoriety because I have a dragon now. Whereas Ulf immediately, you saw it in season 2 that he was gonna be
Yeah.
tripping over this new power that he earned but did not deserve at all. So Ulf flipping was not surprising. Didn't like to see it, but it made sense also because all season, we didn't really touch on this, Ulf was shit on by like Damon at
Yeah,
every chance he
that's
got. Even Rhaenyra was kind of clowning him a little bit, like, no, you can't go to the taverns. You're not gonna see your friends. You're gonna stand watch at this hill, as long as I tell you to. So it just wasn't jiving with the lifestyle he's used to and wants to continue and further with this new title and power, right? So it made sense, and it was pretty funny Damon's treatment of Ulf. And even Hugh, to a certain degree, would be like, okay, you two idiots, you're going to be back here. You don't say a word. Damon is hilarious, too. Like, but again, all of that is, it's bad karma. And see him, we already saw some of the outcomes of that. Your actions have consequences, right? So, but no, for me, last thing I'll say, too, the battle, one of the best Game of Thrones battles I think we've seen. The Tumbleton fight was all time. It almost had shades of Helm's Deep to a certain degree, right? Like the Minas Tirith, just the battlements going through the gates, and then Caraxes popping her head through the gate was elite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great stuff. No, it had it all. And again, Sir Roderick chasing Ormond up the stairs, and then how that whole battle culminated was hilarious. Just sword up the ass was gold.
Yeah. Seeing like third person point of view of Roderick going through men, and like the carnage of Roderick was awesome to see, and he made it to the even you can lop off a limb, he's still going at it. You know, it's like that kind of Aragorn fight.
Let's go.
Flirts. But yeah, no, that was awesome. Like you said, it did have shades that helped. The ladders, the oil, imagine getting the hot oil poured on your face. Like, oh my God, I was like cringing at that moment. And like Damon gets in on his horse right after Caraxes breaks the door, and like right away he's assaulted. Like he's gotta shelter up real quick, and then him fighting Sir, like the huge Ormond's right hand man. That guy was badass.
Roxton.
Like, he was an MVP, underrated MVP this season. You know, catchers Corliss. Corliss, by the way, has 18 lives. Like he's never gonna die. Like he's slippery as an eel. Like he's so valuable, I guess.
Agreed.
And to your point of Allen being more different this season, he also like flexes his authority on the Valyrian soldiers that come in. And he's like, I'm going to be the future Lord of the Tide or of the cat. You know, that was another foreshadowing possibly of him, you know, being power hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the last episode, what was it, like an hour and 10 minutes? And Eric, like I could have watched a 2-hour episode. Like it flew by. I was already like 40 minutes in. Like, oh my God, only 30 minutes left. It was awesome. Warren got what he deserved. Darren and Gwen, like they're pretty smart. You know, they're the smartest two at Tumbleton, trying to sue for peace. That didn't work out, but you can tell like you can talk to them and reason and treat with them. You know, they're definitely going to be important in season 4 for sure.
Yeah.
And I gotta ask you, Eric, like I actually genuinely have a question because I didn't really understand, but Aegon meets up with Aemon and they recover and they're going to go look after Vhagar. Do Aemon and Aegon, do they show up at the end? They're dragons at Tumbledon, or are those two other dragons? Who are those dragons we saw, basically, is my question. Great
question, honestly, because I was kind of thinking, too, for a second, I did think it was Sunfire and Vhagar, but the big dragon didn't have holes in its wings, so it wasn't Vhagar. And in my opinion, that'd be a strange way of showing that they're now all aligned. I think the first dragon was Tessarion, which is Darion's dragon.
Small one, yeah.
I think Vermithor, and Silverwing. Would it not be
Hugh and Ulf's? Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
Would that, because it did look like it was the third one was a big dragon, which Vermithor is a big boy. So I'm pretty sure that means then that it was Hugh is riding with them. He's on that side now. I think that's what that means, because me too, I didn't really think much of it, but now talking it out, like, his wife died, right? We got to see that, so maybe that's cause, which would make no sense though, because it was literally Ulf who burned his wife down. Like why would you be joining that side where the reason your wife is dead is because Ulf had no control? There's a drunk dragon rider out there.
Yeah.
Just friend or foe, doesn't matter. It's fuck you too, both sides, basically, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm really hoping Ulf gets what he deserves next season. Like, Darion, I have no gripe with, really, but I feel like now there's 3 sides almost. It could be Darion, Ulf are aligned, Hugh TBD, Aegon and Aemond, and then Daemon and Rhaenyra, who, again, we've kind of touched on this, but Rhaenyra this season, I think her stock took a hit. Daemon's still my guy, but I'm kind of like, again, Aegon I think is going to win at this point. He's got the momentum. Sneaky Aegon has the momentum with Sunfire back, and now if he's got Aemon bending the knee to him, who, again, are we done on the season or rip predictions now?
Go into predictions, yeah.
Because now I think this is what makes sense. It's basically Aemond is fighting for Aegon. Aemond is going to get killed by Daemon in the God's Eye, swallowed up. That's it. But Aegon gets the best of, and maybe it is through an alliance with Darion as well and co. And even as much as I would hate to see this, Ulf can somehow get the better of Daemon and be like, yeah, for all the shit you put me through, like, now it's my turn. But I could see it being like, there's no way Ulf alone is overpowering Daemon and Caraxes, but if it's like a 3, even 4-on-1 dragon situation, a man can only do so much. So I think that's kind of the path we're headed down. But ultimately, though, while Rhaenyra is crashing out, they've made it pretty clear that Daenerys is a descendant of Rhaenyra. So I think it's her other kids who she's sent to Pentos, the two blonde kids that she has with Damon.
Right.
We're not going to see this in this show, but those are the ones who are going to carry down the lineage of like the Mad King and all that. Like it's those kids who eventually will reclaim. It's going to be another off-air war. As much as I would love to see like all of this be played out, I'm honestly just going to Google all this stuff. When season 4 is done, I want to know like, exactly what happens, but I'm refraining from that to see season 4 and how it all plays out, but that's what I could see happening. Kind of wins on both sides and losses on both sides. Yeah.
So Eric, at the risk of maybe them announcing a show explaining the transition, you're going to read up on the history?
Well, honestly, I think the play would not be to do another show on Targaryens. Like, I think a show I would love to see is more, again, I've already said it there, but North stuff. Like, again, give us some Stark action or even some Essos action. If you give us more Targaryen, don't fill in more gaps in between House of the Dragon and, again, we see some Targaryens in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, right? So it's either like do it all in House of the Dragon or just leave some open to Google, like YouTube some summary videos or whatever. But
I agree with you. You don't have to fill every single like timeline and show every king in succession. Yeah. I'm with you on that. No, those are great predictions. I also think, like, just for Rhaenyra, her telling, like, the common folk about the Song of Ice and Fire and, like, why I'm so important, I thought that was not the right play at all. Like, they're not going to believe in magic and folklore and fairy tales like that. Like, that was stupid, in my opinion. And that just foreshadows her, like, making, like, she's losing her grip, and she's just making bad decisions. So, yeah, I don't think this is going to end well for her in season 4. I think Aemon, like you said, he's going to be Aegon's, like, attack dog, and he's going to do a lot of destruction for Aegon. And Aegon now kind of been humbled he has been humbled this season. He's not going to be a cocky prick. He's going to, like, use his cunning and smarts and all of his tools to his disposal. And he's, like I said, he's been humbled, and that's he's had his second chance. Now he's not going to squander it, right? So he's going to do everything a little more cautiously and cunningly this season in season 4. And then Darion and Egwene are kind of wild cards. I think Ulf gets shredded in episode 1 or 2 of season 4. Like, I think they're going to, for his betrayal, they're going to, like, 3 dragons are going to corner him in the sky, or he's going to get stabbed to death in a tavern. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Love to see that.
Right? I don't know what's going to happen. Corlys, too, is kind of a wild card. Daemon kind of says, like, take him away like he's in prison, but he's not going to stay in prison for long. Yeah. And he's going to be a big player still in season 4. A man who I thought would be dead every season. Like, he flirts with danger every season, but I love the character of Corlys. No, I'm excited. And we haven't, not to stray away from predictions, but Alice Rivers, like, Alice shows Aemon a box of eggs. Like, those eggs, what are those, Eric? Are 3 of those eggs eventually going to make their way to Daenerys in the future? Are those just dead eggs? Like, that was kind of cool to see, right? Because there's no more dragons after the dragons we've seen in the show, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of know how it all ends for all the dragons. I don't know if you want to hear it, but because they might show it in this show. I just don't know, like, when that happens in the timelines, but I do know how all the dragons get killed. Okay. So I won't say that, but the eggs that Alice shows, I'm not sure about, honestly, but I'm pretty sure we've already seen the eggs that Daenerys gets. It was in season 1. Daemon gives 3 eggs to, I'm pretty sure it's the kids that he and Rhaenyra have, and he gives those 3 eggs with them, which is, again, that's kind of symbolizing that through these kids, this is where Daenerys and those 3 eggs would become the dragons we've seen Game of Thrones come from, right? So I think these are just bonus eggs. I don't know if they're going to hatch. I hope not, honestly. But that's kind of my thought on when I saw those eggs. I didn't really love that because then it's like more ammo for that side. But also, those are going to be hatchlings for this entire show, right? Maybe it's after the show is done, they're going to grow to be other dragons that whatever have some sort of significance. But I don't think they're going to actually be big players for this show. And I just wanted to add one thing on the Rhaenyra speech there. Her saying the prophecy to the people. It's like, if you have to tell everyone why you're so important, you ain't that important, I am the prince that was promised. Like, are you though? It's Jon Snow. But all that to say, I think Rhaenyra's cooked in season 4 at some point, unfortunately. But her legacy will be through her kids. And honestly, I was even thinking of this, like knowing how it ends in Game of Thrones, is that line even really that important? Like how it all shakes out. Like Daenerys went cuckoo in the finale. Jon Snow lives out his days in the Wall. Like I don't know. I guess they did have a part in killing the Night King, but
yeah,
I guess that's what you could really say as where they came into play. But anyways, it's just like it should have been one of them, king or queen, and not Bran. That's all I'll say. But
yeah, that last season is a misfire.
We can still enjoy this show, and again, this show doesn't necessarily have to give us answers and explain why things happen in Game of Thrones. Like at the time, this is how they felt and what they thought. Right, whether they're right or wrong isn't for us to judge. That's just how they feel. So no, great season. Honestly, I had hoped that season 3 would be good, and it, at the very least, delivered. If not, I'd say exceeded expectations, honestly. It was a fantastic season of TV. Pumped for season 4. Like I said, I kind of wish that they would say, you know what, we're running it back and doing a 5th season too, because there is a lot of material left to cover. Like I don't know if they're going to answer all these questions. Like, again, the death of all the dragons, I don't know if that's going to be in this season coming up. I know the fate of...
Probably not.
Like, I know how one of the main characters in this show dies. Like, I do know that as well. Okay. But are we going to see that in this season? I don't know. Because I don't know how old these characters are when they die. So...
I think one of the last images we saw was that quilt Helena did fabricated. So I'm pretty sure Rhaenyra is going to die in season 4. And Daemon, I think Daemon's dying, Rhaenyra's dying, Aemon, but not Aegon. Like I think Aegon might be in power at the end, or maybe Darion. I don't know. Like I haven't looked this up. Yeah. I have the book Fire and Blood, the whole Targaryen glossary, or not glossary, encyclopedia of their timeline, but I read the Aegon stuff, Aaron, the Aegon the Conqueror stuff. That was great, but that would be a cool show. But again, everyone knows what happened, so would it really be that cool? You know the result. No, I'm excited for season 4. You got it right there, Fire and Blood.
Absolute
Eric has the book.
Brick of a book. I started reading it a while back, but it's just an absolute unit to get through. But we'll see.
Yeah, I remember the writing wasn't that great, right? Like, it was just very, like, a textbook, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, exactly. It's not really a novel. It's not a novel, right? It's really just recallings. It's supposed to be like a history book, really, of events that happened, and it's you're getting it from 3 different narrators and points of view who saw certain things. So that's where, with this show, they have some wiggle room to change stuff, right? Because they're saying, oh, it's an unreliable narrator. They're not sure what they saw, or they exaggerated this or changed that, right? So that's where whatever changes they're making in this show from the book that people are upset about, the creators like, you know what? If you're that upset, reread the books. Like, we don't care. We're making a few tweaks and trying to make it as... They're actually PGing certain things, which apparently it's much more graphic in the book, some of the stuff that happens here, which I'm A-okay with, honestly. But all that to say, I'm kind of with you. I think Rhaenyra, Daemon, Aemond dead in season 4. It's Aegon or Daeron who end up as king. It's one of those two, but it ends up being a... again, there's a promise of, the Daenerys line will be back kind of thing, right? It's like a Spider-Man will return situation.
That'll be the epilogue, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I like that.
You're going to see a shot of the kids in Pentos.
Okay.
And then it'll cut to, like, Daenerys or something. Maybe they bring Emilia Clarke back for the finale, who knows. But all that to say, I think those are our main characters. I don't know what's going to happen with the hulls and all that there. Corlys somehow lives. That'd be nuts if Corlys lives. But I don't want Daemon to die.
Don't exist, right? So
yeah,
in Game of Thrones, so
it's true.
They get snuffed out somewhere.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, overall, I love this season, Eric. Every week super excited to watch the episode. Every episode went by really fast. Like, you can't complain about the pacing or I was never bored, basically. So yeah, great show. And for this not to be in my like top 10 of the year, it would have to be the best TV year in history. So that's how good of a show this is. Yeah,
Agreed. So yeah, no, I mean that's it for me too on this. Can hop into some recommendations, Matt. Anything that you've been consuming that you wanted to share with the listeners?
yeah, absolutely. I'll start with a book, actually. I'm on my 11th book of the year, so I'm outpacing my one book per month. So I'll definitely have enough to make a top 10. I am reading right now Dungeon Crawler Carl, the first book. I'm loving it, Eric. I don't know, you brought it up. I'm assuming you finished it.
I love it. Honestly, it's like reading. I'm imagining myself in this situation. It's like I'm reading a video game, basically. I love it. You guys can look up a synopsis. You gave a great description of the episode you talked about it, Eric, but like, it's the adventure aspect of this novel, and the pacing is unreal. And I love just following Carl and Donut just going around. Carl and his cat. Yeah. It's awesome. Love the writing style. Like, it's very descriptive, but it's all stuff that I know and like. Like you told me, Eric, I'm going to get a lot of the references, the pop culture stuff. Really cool, like monsters and a really cool adventure so far. I'm 75% done the first book, so I might have to delve right into the second one, honestly. I don't know how this one ends, though, but that's going to influence if I'm going to read it right away. Did you finish the first book, Eric?
Oh yeah, I'm on to the second one now, and again, reads just as quickly. I'm making swift progress, probably like 30% of the way through. I don't have the e-reader to tell me exactly what, but just an educated guess. But yeah, really enjoying it. And the world that Matt Dinniman has created is just enthralling, and it's actually been picked up for a television series that I think it's Peacock. Unfortunately, don't have that subscription, but they're producing it. It's Seth MacFarlane is actually going to be a producer or showrunner, I'm not sure, and they've cast the voice actor who plays Princess Donut in the audio book. Like, it's that actor who's going to play Donut in the show as well, which is great. So getting the same person there who's familiar with the legend that is Princess Donut. So no,
she's great.
So good. So yeah, no, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Matt. Great book. And yeah, book 2 is really good. And I know quite a few people were really into the series there, so it does not slow down. I'm looking forward to work my way through this series as well, and probably gonna make one of these books is gonna make an appearance in my top 10 books of 2026, new addition to our catalog coming in next year. But right on. So me, I'll not recommend, but just talk about a movie I watched the other day, which is probably a steer clear from, or just if you do want to watch it, go in with low expectations. But I watched Masters of the Universe the other day, kind of thinking or hoping it would be like a Guardians of the Galaxy, Dungeons and Dragons, Den of Thieves, yeah, I guess that kind of movie. Didn't really reach those comedic heights anyways, and even the action was just alright, but it did have some moments, some good, I would say good values of, again, not feeling like you're ready for a role and finding your purpose, camaraderie, all that stuff there. It had a retro vibe, right? Like, it's really goofy and campy, and that was the vibe of the He-Man show back in the 80s, I think it was. So they did a good job at recreating that, which is, again, not a franchise I grew up on whatsoever, but I was still able to enjoy it to a certain degree. They had Camila Mendes from Riverdale. There's Idris Elba. Jared Leto plays Skeletor. He was actually a sick character. I was a big fan of Skeletor. Alison Brie plays another character in there, the witch in the movie. So, you know, there's some cool actors and interesting characters in there, but I would say it's on Prime Video. Overall, not a massive like must-see in theaters. Like, obviously now it's not in theaters anymore, but there are other movies in theaters that definitely warrant to be seen on the bigger screen more than this was at the time. So that'll be my first recommend, Matt.
That's good. It sounds like a movie that I would enjoy, like, either like a morning movie, before I start my day, or at night after a couple, a nice supper and a couple of drinks, throw on Masters of the Universe, have a good time. I don't have to think. It's not intellectual. I just have fun with the action. And Skeletor does look cool. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know anything about that character, but his look is cool. So yeah, good recommendation, Eric. Are we talking about? Did you want to talk about Spider-Man, or do you want to save that for a Doomsday show, Avengers Doomsday?
Well, the only thing with like a Doomsday show is I'm just looking at timeline. Like that movie comes out, and then it's like we're doing all of our top tens. So I think
Top tens.
I think we just talk about Spider-Man now, honestly.
Okay. And I don't want it to be too long too.
Yeah.
I purposely didn't rate it just to keep stuff obscure from you. Even though you pretty much know my taste in movies. I thought Spider-Man Brand New Day was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it focused on the characters. I don't know if I want to spoil the movie too much, but I just focused on the characters more, and I thought the actors were phenomenal in the movie. Like Tom Holland made this movie. Every man he was on screen, he killed it. He was the reason why the movie was so enjoyable, and it's the character moments that I enjoyed the most in this movie. Honestly, it wasn't always the action scenes. It was like the relatable, like hanging out moments and the emotional moments. Really is what I mean to say. So no, I thought it was amazing. What about you, Eric?
Oh yeah, big fan. One of the top movies of the year so far for sure. Must see in theaters, and I'll just go out and say it. Tom Holland, best Spider-Man ever. Honestly, I think he is the best Spider-Man for me. Anyways, like obviously he grew up on the Tobey movies. A lot of people like Andrew Garfield say he's the best actor who's played Spider-Man. Sure, but let's be real here. He and his movies are not the best Spider-Man. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry. Tom Holland kills it in this role. Amazing. And this movie is one of the better Spider-Man movies of all time, honestly. And while packed with, you could say, cameos and so many characters popping up for little cups of tea, they all serve a purpose. For the most part, I'd say you didn't need all these characters as they contribute to the story and make sense to have there for Peter's development as he's going through what he is going through, in which really coming off the heels of he's made Doctor Strange make the whole world forget about who Peter Parker is, including his girlfriend and his best friend. So I like that they really focused on that impact that has had on him over the years, and how he's coped and or struggled to cope with that.
Yeah.
And just his growth as a character was awesome in this movie. And me too. While the action was awesome, my favorite parts of the movie were the scenes when he was spending time with MJ and Ned. Definitely emotional scenes, teary-eyed at some moments, and again, not to spoil stuff specifically there, but there's definitely some moments I was like, man, like, this is so good. But I will say, I mean, it's not a spoiler to say, like, I literally just said it, but Tom Holland and Zendaya share a lot of scenes together, and their chemistry was so good in the movie. It was like watching two people in real life just share stuff and connect, and it was awesome to watch. You're not going to see that kind of dynamic on the screen look so natural and make you just feel like this is real emotion that's being shared on the screen. It was just so good. And big fan of all the actors involved in this movie. Really good.
I totally agree with everything you said, Eric. And the fact that Tom and Zendaya are married in real life just amplified everything. Like, you can't act that good. Like, you can be a great actor, but this is more than acting. This was them, like, because they're married, it just made their scenes even better, because like, he loves her in real life. Like, he loves this lady in real life, and he loves her in the story too. So that it makes it even better to me, and it puts a smile to your face. And Tom's performance, he's so much more mature and evolved, and he's growing into this role beautifully. Like, he is Spider-Man now. Like, that's 4 movies where it's just a Spider-Man movie. Like, he's been in other movies. He's played him like 6 or 7 times now, but 4th Spider-Man movie, and amazing. And
like I said, that was like him talking to Frank too, like the banter. I love that stuff the most. Like, sure, I like watching other people tear shit up, but it's the small moments that made Brand New Day what it was. It's the Ned moments, the Zendaya moment, the MJ and Ned moments, like you said. Just like the scenes, the apartment scenes. It was. I kind of want to like you said, it's a must see in the theater. That's all I'm gonna end the review, and we'll probably discuss the movie more. Like I could talk about it some more, but I don't want to go on and on. So yeah, it was a great movie.
Staten Island again with the Staten Island. I love that. Just a little running gag in the movie, but yeah, no, awesome movie. I might see it again in theaters. Honestly, I'm not ruling that out. And Odyssey rerun number 3, also not ruling that out. I saw that you went to see it again, Matt. I was fired up to see the rating has gone up, as you know, it should. Honestly, amazing movie. But I'd say it's such a good time to go to the theater with Odyssey and Spider-Man in theaters. You can't go wrong at least seeing them each once. And again, in my books, they both merit to be seen twice as well. And Spider-Man's crushing at the box office. It's great.
Oh my God. It's a great year for movies, really. This has been a great year at the box office. Great year to go to the theater, guys. So do it.
Agreed. Reverse recommendation again. The Hawk, absolute dog shit show. Again, Will Ferrell has just lost it. Doesn't have the sauce anymore. He's playing characters that he used to play 20 years ago, which sure they worked back then, but Ron Burgundy, the Ron Burgundy, Ricky Bobby, Brennan Huffs of the world, like your man's is pushing 60, he might be 60, honestly. Like, you just can't play those kind of idiots anymore. It's lost its cachet, and honestly, there's a lot of rip-off Happy Gilmore in here, and it's just not hitting the same. I watched 3 episodes. That's a DNF for me. Did not finish, and I strongly recommend that you don't waste your time giving The Hawk any more time than it deserves, which is none, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just made it past the first episode, and I looked over at Mackenzie and said, I don't think I want to finish the show, and I didn't, so I'm glad to hear that it doesn't get better, honestly, so I don't have to watch it.
Like, that first scene... Funny. That first scene is probably hilarious if you're 7 years old. Like, the RV, right? The bus driving around, like, it's just an absolute joke. Stupid. Yeah. So, anyways... Hate to end on a note of negativity, but that's kind of all I've been watching recently.
No, you're doing the homework so that people don't have to watch it. I love it. I love a good reverse recommend because it's like cross it off the list.
Exactly.
I'll just recommend one more thing. A TV show that I thought was phenomenal. Dark, bleak, and phenomenal is how I would describe this show. It's on Crave. It's a creator who did Baby Reindeer. His new show, it's called Half Man. It's on Crave. 6 episodes. So it's the creator of Baby Reindeer, Richard Gadd. He wrote the show. He stars in it. And opposite him is Jamie Bell. It's a Scottish show. 6 episodes. Drama, dark drama. It's super bleak, Eric, but holy hell is it acted superbly and powerful and very upsetting. And it was a great show. I loved every minute of it. I could have watched the 6 episodes in one shot if I had the chance. It was that great. So that's Half Man. I believe it's on Crave.
So almost the adolescence, if you will, of 2026, just for the dark tones.
Just the themes, too. Like a lot of, I don't want to say it, but a lot of dark stuff. You know, stuff that's definitely rated R. And, like, you know right away after episode 1, you know where they're going to get into. And it's not easy to watch, and it's not for everybody. But I like kind of dark, hard-hitting dramas, and it's superbly acted, like I said. It's very upsetting, but powerful and emotional, so that's why I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay. Something to add to me, the 2026 shows, there's been so many of them that I do have to get on there, but...
so many.
I will say,
how do you choose?
Yeah, it's hard, man. I've only gotten through half of what I aspired to watch, but now there's more to add to the list, but... I've started Beef Season 2. I just watched, like, the start of the first episode. You've seen it, right?
Yep.
So, not that convincing through, like, 20 minutes of episode 1. I found that the characters so far, anyways, are a bit like caricatures of like a marriage that's going through some struggles, and then the overly lovey-dovey young couple who's like really like always physical and stuff. Like so far, I found it to be a little too much. With like the Kaylee Spaney, who I'm a big fan of, like her and her boyfriend, it's always the like, oh I love you, babe, oh babe, I'd die for you, I can't live without you, all this stuff. I'm like, all right, let's settle down here. It's just wherever you go, I go, like whatever. And then you got the married couple, Oscar Isaac and Carey Mulligan. Their explosive fight in episode 1 seemed to escalate a bit too much too quickly. I guess it is to show that while they present an image of this couple to aspire to has a lot of problems as well and like a lot of resentment for one another, like it's setting the tone for what's to come for this season with them. I found it was a bit unconvincing, honestly, there, but would you say it's worth continuing and it gets better?
It definitely gets better, but it goes into like a territory you could never imagine right now. Like episode 1 is not an accurate representation of what's going to happen because it goes haywire, just like season 1 of Beef. It's definitely not as good as season 1, thinking back. And so it's setting up stuff. Like there's a reason why they're acting this way, and then you're going to see like things aren't always going to remain the same. Like stuff does happen. A lot of stuff happens in this season. But I will say, like, after episode 3 and 4, like you're not into it, I wouldn't finish because I don't think it would change your mind by then. Like, oh my God, the last episode's going to save the show. I don't think it's the case. Like you got to lock in early, and then if you don't love it, maybe don't waste your time.
Okay. Well, so far I'm not locked in, but we'll see. I'll give it at least a few episodes and see where it goes from here. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on in terms of TV and movie consumption for me.
Yeah, me too. That's all I want to recommend. The Odyssey, even better the second time. You said it, 4.5 stars. I understood everything now, like the little things I missed. And then my favorite scenes from the first viewing got even better the second viewing. So what a brilliant movie. Loved it. Ripped by it. Like 3 hours ripped by. I was like, oh, it's already over. I was kind of sad. So The Odyssey is one of the best, if not, it's going to be top 2 of the year. Like I can't see anything being better than Odyssey or Dune 3. But that remains to be seen, guys. So what a great movie.
Completely agreed. But yeah, Matt, that's all I got as well. A lot of fun going over. House of the Dragon, we're back. Game of Thrones, what a run it's on. Can't wait to see what comes out next in this universe. And looking forward to future discussions. Again, I doubt this the last time we're discussing at least one of these Game of Thrones shows that came out this year. So any final notes to the listeners?
Just thank you, everybody, for listening. Eric, I loved our discussion today. I learned a lot of cool stuff about this season that you brought up a lot of great points. Made me think a lot about the show. Can't wait to see the next season. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed our discussion and that makes you want to watch season 4 even more now. And thank you for listening to the podcast, Eric, and I really appreciate it.
Well said, Matt. So thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 Mondays. Continue to enjoy the rest of summer. And, peace.